Okay, we are the people, Empire of the Sun. 12 string, 2 chords at the same time, easier on a 12 string. So, as I just displayed on the piano what the chords are, the chords are pretty easy. E minor, B minor, C, E minor, B minor, and back to the E minor. But underneath that, you've got to find those compound chords. So at the bass, it's a bit of E minor, then a D, and then kind of a G, weirdly. Okay, and then back to E minor, D, E minor. So it's... And this is the interesting one. So you've got to figure out how to do that on the guitar. It's like having 2 guitars playing alongside each other. But you can do it. You don't need 2 guitars. 12 string will do. Then we go to a B minor, then to a C, then to an E minor, B minor, E minor. So there's the standard. When you play an E minor on a 12 string, all those strings are sort of working quite nicely together. And for the B minor, the same. But if I take the thumb away, that open A is very useful on that chord. And for the C, well, I need to get a B in there as well. So obviously just lifting the first finger off will get you that. And then back to E minor. And this next B minor is the key one to get right. And if you don't fancy going up the neck, just simply take your first finger off. So if I start arpeggioing it, you'll see where it's coming from. So no one does that in the song, they strum it. In the studio they completely gut the EQ, so you're not hearing really any mid-tone frequencies at all. So that's what I've kind of done here. So very light plectrum. So why do I say go up the neck? Well, to start with on that B minor, which would usually be here, I just want the 5th string, 4th string and 3rd string. That's what I want. Play it all. And then for the B minor, which would usually be here, I just want the same strings, 5th, 4th and 3rd, all open. So hear how that goes together. And it's easy to change around, you just swap that configuration around. And then for the C, it gets a bit tricky because it would usually be here. But I'm Glenn Campbell using my thumb, and I only want, hang on, what do I want? Oh, the same. It's always just the fifth, fourth, and third, but I do need to get the bass. Keeping that B all the time, and then back to the E minor, which is here. And then a quick swap round again. So that's what I'm doing. Now, the real hook of that acoustic guitar sound in that song is not just from that. It's also from he's playing, he's strumming the guitar as if it was a harp. He's deciding, using his bits of his flesh on his hand to mute some of the strings, especially the top string. And you'll see opening it up to ring it. What I mean is easier to show you than to explain. So like this, my palm is muting the E string, but I'm getting my E here. So it's this. Can you hear it? And it's the same here. So that dum da 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 da, his playing is plucking them all, but he's just being clever enough to know which strings to mute, and sometimes he pulls the tension off the string on the fret so you can't. You get a bit of that, but you. Sometimes you want to mute it with this hand. But if you wanted to let strings ring, you just pull the tension off the fret. And in practice, you do a bit of both. So that's essentially how I did it on that video, and I'm not saying that's exactly what they did. I don't know what they did, but it's how I think and feel it should be done. And you don't have to be up here. If it hurts too much, you can come down here and do it just by using the fleshy bits here to mute that E string. So it sounds really cool because you can just mute one of the strings and you just get one of the open E strings at the top here ringing through at a slightly sort of lower presence, and that has a lovely effect as well, but it's very hard to do that on purpose. And it sounds, I play it a lot better when I'm not telling you how to play it, when I'm not even thinking about what I'm doing, because I've been strumming that riff for probably since it was ever released, and never performed it or anything like that. But it's just a nice progression. I taught my wife how to play acoustic guitar with those chords. That's another thing you can do. Mute all the strings and just let that bottom E ring. biggest advice I can give you is get the thinnest plectrum you possibly can and strum hard. That will help you get the energy behind it. If you get a thicker plectrum and do it, it will ruin it because the strings will just distort. So that's the thing. If you got a 12 string and you want to experiment on your own, just arpeggio it, just use the individual strings around those chords and you'll find where those odd little bits are to find. That open B on that last B minor is what makes it. I'm sure that wasn't helpful, but it's as much help as I can be. Okay, sorry if it wasn't helpful. That's why I'm not a guitar teacher.